and block supply routes, as also described in the statement of the Secretary-General of Danish Refugee Council. Such obstructions place civilians at even greater risk of violence, malnutrition, and disease. As the SRSD has stressed, we urge the immediate reopening of the Goma and Kavumu airports, as well as the safe, rapid, and unhindered humanitarian access to all those in need. Civilians must be able to return safely to their homes and granted safety in IDP camps in M23 controlled areas. We commend local actors, especially women-led organizations, who continue to provide essential services and support at grave risk to their own safety. Third, we deplore the continued threats and reprisals against human rights defenders, journalists, civil society, and judicial authorities. An environment of vigilante justice and breakdown of law and order has continued to spread in the East, with reports of widespread instances of extrajudicial killings, hate speech, and other human rights violations and abuses. This must end now. All parties must immediately uphold their obligations under international human rights law, protect civic space, and commit to prevent and combat the spread of mis- and disinformation. We reiterate our call for accountability for all those responsible for grave violations of international humanitarian law and human rights law. We support the work of the DRC authorities to provide justice to the victims and note the recent visits of the ICC prosecutor to the DRC to meet with the authorities and local stakeholders. Persistent impunity is a driver of new atrocity crimes. We must do all we can to break this cycle. Fourth, let me reiterate Denmark's full support for MONUSCO as the mission continues to deliver on its mandate in an extremely complex situation. We demand the immediate restoration of the mission's freedom of movement and its full ability to resupply and rotate staff in the M23 controlled areas. Colleagues, as each day passes, the political crisis and its security and humanitarian consequences deepen. We call on Rwanda to end its support to M23 and withdraw its troops from the DRC. Moreover, the DRC needs to sever its ties with the FDLR and any other armed group. The Congolese people deserve peace. Every step taken must be to this end. And now resume my function as President of the Council, and I give the floor to the representative of the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, distinguished members of the Council, I wish at the outset to warmly congratulate you on behalf of the delegation of the DRC. I'm congratulating you on your presidency of the Security Council for March as the month draws to a close. Thanks to your wisdom, your skill, and your qualities, your sterling qualities as a diplomat, you have successfully steered the work of this council. I also wish to thank your predecessor, Ambassador Fukong. He steered the council's work also equally successfully last month. The Democratic Republic of the Congo welcomes the detailed briefing delivered by the Special Representative of the Secretary-General in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ms. Bintou Keita. We also welcome to our meeting the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Mr. Olivier Nduhungirehe, and we welcome Madame Charlotte Slente of the Danish Refugee Council. She objectively detailed the hell and the bitter ordeal besetting the Congolese people in areas under control of the Rwandan army and the M23 AFC proxies. Today's statement will focus on the following 4 points: the report of the Secretary-General on the situation in Eastern DRC, the implementation of Resolution 2773 of the Security Council, peace initiatives already underway, and the adoption of sanctions as measures with which to implement Resolution 2773 of the Security Council. Madam President, thousands of people have been killed. Thousands of people have been internally displaced. Entire cities have been devastated. Walikale, Kamanyola, Bunagana, Masisi Centre, Goma, Minova, Ijwi, and Bukavu. In a humanitarian context which is chaotic on all fronts, the east of the DRC yet again offers a particularly distressing spectacle. The Secretary-General's report, issued as Document S/2025/176, has been circulated to your Council, and it says the very same. Rwandan Defense Forces and the AFC M23 proxies have crossed our borders. They have occupied strategic locations, turfed people from their homes, and established a parallel administration. They continue to flagrantly violate, in so doing, the DRC's sovereignty. In its communiqué issued on the 15th of March 2025, the Ministry of the Interior, Security, Decentralization and Customary Affairs of the Democratic Republic of the Congo documented a series of atrocities perpetrated by the Rwandan Defense Forces and their M23 AFC proxies in North Kivu and South Kivu, this in violation of the relevant provisions of Resolution 2773, adopted on the 21st of February 2025. These acts have caused the huge loss of human life and mass destruction. The communiqué quite rightly documented that between the 10th and 14th of March 2025, there were 62 cases of targeted killings and summary executions in the areas under occupation. Moreover, there were 17 cases of violations and numerous cases of pillaging on the part of the Rwandan forces and their allies. Among the most striking incidents, the Rwandan army and the M23 AFC coalition staged a second incursion, I did say a second incursion, into the CBCA Ndusho hospital on the 10th of March. During that event, they abducted around 100 patients and healthcare workers who were later summarily executed. The communiqué aforementioned also reports the death of Mr. Fikri Mushuko Antoine, the head of the Mfui Matanda group. He was abducted from the CBCA Ondosho hospital on the 3rd of March and tortured for 7 days by Rwandan soldiers. Madam President, this alarming situation underscores the urgent need to implement to the letter the provisions of Resolution 2773 of the Security Council. This in order to put an end to the violence and protect the civilians in the regions affected. This bleak, unfortunate picture is being painted more than a month after the Security Council, through its Resolution 2773, unanimously called upon the Rwandan Defense Forces to withdraw immediately from the territory of the Democratic Republic of the Congo unconditionally. The resolution also demanded that they cease to support the M23. It too must withdraw from Goma, Bukavu, and all areas under their control, and entirely dismantle the illegitimate parallel administrations that have been established on the territory of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The unanimous adoption, says the Speaker, on the 21st of February 2025 of Resolution 2773 was a significant step forward in efforts to resolve the crisis and restore a lasting peace in the east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This peace involves restoring the Congolese state's authority across all occupied provinces in North Kivu and South Kivu in their entirety. The resolution stands as a response to the security and humanitarian crises and challenges which are dealing a heavy blow to the people in the east of our country that for 30 years now have been in the grips of violence. The text is also an expression of clear and explicit support from the international community to the efforts taken by the AU, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, SADC, and the East African Community. Far from hindering African initiatives, Resolution 2773 strengthens and supplements them. The extent and persistent nature of the aforementioned violence suggests that we can no longer allow this crisis to drag on for eternity, claiming that an African problem requires an African solution. Doing that would be to betray the spirit of international solidarity, which is the very bedrock of the United Nations collective security system. Now is the time to recall that the Democratic Republic of the Congo legitimately expects this Council to resolutely and diligently finish the work it started here on the 21st of February 2025, work to protect international peace and security in accordance with the tenets of the United Nations Charter. In other words, the Council must now implement Resolution 2773. That is and must be a priority. To date, no Rwandan soldier has withdrawn from the DRC's territory. No element of the M23 AFC coalition has withdrawn from Goma or Bukavu, nor from any other area under control, and no parallel administration, illegitimate parallel administration indeed, has been dismantled. On the contrary, every day we're seeing the positions held by the RDF M23 AFC coalitions growing stronger. They tirelessly continue their expansionist and criminal agenda. They are hungry to defy the Security Council's will in so doing, and through their actions they are killing